Alrighty, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. It is time for round 6 of the ISRL Division 2 Championship. And we are here at the Sochi Autodrome. It is time for the Russian Grand Prix. And my, oh my, I am excited to kick this one off. This is going to be a very good race on the heels of what was a very eventful and very exciting real-life Grand Prix. And of course, if you haven't seen it yet, Division 3 and Division 4 both had their races here as well. And they were both absolute bangers in my personal opinion. And I'm sure here in Division 2, it is going to be more of the same, as we're just ready here, just getting started with our short qualifying session. Already we've got a driver on track here, Nole in the Ferrari, who's going to be leading the charge here in qualifying on their out lap. Hello and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. My name is Fallen Monkeys, or ISRL Monkeys if you prefer, back here in the commentator's booth like I am every week to take you through the action. And like I said, I'm excited here. Russia always, as far as league racing is concerned, in my experience, always seems to bring out a very good race. It always seems to bring out some excitement, some controversy, a little bit of chaos, and I'm sure here in Division 2 it's going to be more of the same. And so far in the Division 2 Championship, it's been very close up at the top in the midfield. Essentially all around, everywhere you look, there's a lot of close battles, and I'm sure it's going to be more of the same. But we're just about set to truly kick off our short qualifying session. Let's jump on board with Nole as he goes around the final corner and very quickly invalidates his lap. And you saw that there on the exit, going around the final corner, just extending that corner a little bit too much here. And that's going to be essentially a theme here, I believe, in Russia. So keep an eye out for that, as like I was mentioning, we're going to see a bit of a theme of track limits and drivers trying to extend the track limits, as that was Krishna trying to get himself set up and ready to go on the medium tires, gets that car spun around, but thankfully, I think with the way this corner is set up here, you can just go on your flying lap without having to worry too much about it, because you're taking that final corner at such a slow speed. You're starting from 0 to 100 either way. So I think we'll have to see what Krishna's going to do, but it looks like he's got DRS open heading into turn 2, which is the first true corner of the track, of the circuit, and it looks like he is going to continue on his lap, at least for the time being. So we'll stick with him, as he's the second Ferrari that was running on track, but the first one to possibly set a time. And we do, of course, have an AlphaTauri right behind. That's it's Nazareth, who is just running a time very quickly behind. We'll switch over to It's Nazareth here just to give him a little bit of love. He went purple in Sector 1, but of course with no times left, it's going to be more of the same. You saw that extended line. The marshals were perfectly fine with that one. That's one of those corners that's a little bit particular. You just have to take it the right way in order to keep the lap valid, as you saw with Nazareth there. But with the two drivers starting their flying laps and more to come, we'll see who is going to take the top of the timing tables here by the end of the session once time hits 0, and who will be able to get that coveted pole position. And it appears as if very early on, unfortunately for those watching cheering on Jordan, it does not seem like Jordan will be getting that pole position, because he is very quickly out of qualifying, choosing to retire very early, maybe opting for a start at the back of the grid. I'm not seeing any yellow flags for him there, so I think it was just a retirement in the pit lane. Now, back to the timing tables. It's Nazareth does take provisional pole as expected. Rotation up into second with a 131.5. Both on the soft tires here are Nazareth and Rotation. Duil in third, Krishna in fourth, but Calm Koala just taking that P3 right back. The new full-time driver here in the Alpine will be partnering up ISRL Knight in that Alpine team. So we'll see if he can make a good race here in his debut as a full-time driver in the Division 2 Championship. Pretty good lap time, a 132.2 on the medium tires for Com Koala, but he is a driver that we're going to be keeping an eye out on here a little bit here. Now, of course, DeRoy is also here in the McLaren. He goes second fastest, a 131.2, so just about half a second slower than the time set by Nazareth, also on the soft tires. But it's looking like both McLarens of DeRoy and Rotation are having pace here early on those soft tires. Kurt Valletta just crossed the line. He goes fifth fastest, a 132.1. So it's looking to be on the soft tires at the very least. If you want to end up in that top 5, you've got to break the 132s. You've got to get into the sub 132s, into the 131s. And as qualifying continues on and we see the track evolve, we see the times getting quicker, I would not be surprised to see that threshold possibly break into the sub 130s, especially for drivers who are really challenging for pole position. The likes of Nazareth, Knight, Zuil, Demorts even, who's been having a fantastic season so far in the Red Bull. So I think some of those drivers will have to keep an eye out on them, see if maybe they can break into that sub 130 plane, but of course still a bit of time to go before that. Currently we're watching Dark on the medium tires as he's doing his first flying lap in that Mercedes car, so we'll see what he can do. Hopefully he has a little bit more better luck than one Sir Lewis Hamilton had in qualifying. Really, for those who aren't aware, for those who maybe didn't see that qualifying, Sir Lewis Hamilton kept in the qualifying, but made friends with the walls here in Sochi a little bit more than he would like. But so far for Dark on his lap, it's looking to be pretty good. We'll knock on wood that it's not the case here in the very tricky Sector 3 here. A lot of slow speed corners that you just have to nail the apexes to really maximize your line, maximize that speed through the corner and the exit speed. But around the final corner he goes. Dark up to P10, so it is a top 10. But on those medium tires, he's either going to go for a second lap or might want to switch over to a set of red wall soft tires to possibly improve that lap time. And it's looking to be a lot of these medium tire runners are maybe not finding that pace they were hoping for here. I'll go back to Nole as he's definitely a driver to keep an eye out for. We saw it last season. He is the defending champion here in Division 2. But of course, with the calendar, or not the calendar, the roster changes we had in the off season, like we've seen, the challenge for Nole to defend this season is going to be a lot more difficult than maybe he initially thought, as we're seeing. But of course, Nole was very consistent through the entirety of the season, but on his first lap, it's a 132.6. So a bit of a pedestrian lap, all things considered, for Nole, down in P13 out of 14 times on the board. So I think we'll need to improve that just a little bit here before the end of the session. But here we are, 9 minutes and 15 seconds and counting remaining in this short qualifying session here in Russia. It's Nazareth is hanging on to that provisional pole position as more and more times are starting to fall. But with Demorts in the Red Bull on the soft tires, we'll see if the Red Bull driver can maybe make a challenge, snag that pole position for himself. We know Demorts has the pace. He's always been up there with the leaders through the course of the race and of course in qualifying, and we'll see if he can continue on that streak. Just coming through a Sector 3 now, is approaching a little bit of traffic here right at the end of the lap. But we'll see. That shouldn't affect him too much. It doesn't look to be the case, as that's an Alpine that is diving into the pits, so definitely no worries there. Around the final corner goes Demorts across the line. It's P5 for the Red Bull driver on the soft tires, It's a 1:31.6 here. So looking at the best time here, a lot of the drivers here on the medium tires, it seems like a lot of them, the likes of VR, Zuil, they're on an out lap, but they're switching over to the soft tires to try to improve. Rotation looking to improve on the soft tires as well, looking to see if he can go faster than the 1:31.5, but really, it's only Irish Nude Potato who is really sitting comfortably, quote unquote, on those medium tires. He's got a 1:31.6 as his best time so far, but he has used those medium tires for 3 laps. So he's going to have to get into the pits, because at this point you're starting to lose out on that advantage of trying to qualify on the medium tires. If you're putting 3, 4, even 5 laps into them, that's if you're starting in the top 10, you're gonna have to start on those tires, and putting a couple laps in them won't help. Now rotation goes across the line. It's he took a bit of an interesting line around the final corner there, going very wide, and oh my goodness, what is that? That looks to be a tire just sitting on track there. Love the visual glitches that we're seeing here in this game with the phantom tires. Hopefully though, that's not too much of a distraction for the drivers currently running their flying laps here. It does not appear to be the case though, but we'll see. VR46 Yarno, I was watching him here, but he has an invalidated lap time, so I'll switch over to the Haas of Zuil, as he's currently down in 9th, but he has that time set on the medium tires, going on the much faster soft tire, the red walled soft tire compound there, so he should be able to improve. We'll get an idea as he's approaching the end of Sector 2 down this back straight, which is kind of a straight, but kind of not really a straight. But for Zuil, nearly half a second off his lap time here, so looking to be right around the 1:31.4s, and that could slot him right around P4, P5 if that remains consistent. But of course, through Sector 3, there's still more time to gain on those very quick soft tires. And with 2 corners to go, let's see what the Haas driver is gonna do. He crosses the line, and he only goes P6. It's a 1:31.399, so just below the 1:31.4. But I was expecting Zuil to jump up a little bit higher than what he did here. But maybe we had a couple drivers. I think the likes of Krishna may be setting a quicker lap time. Nazareth, he's purple in Sector 1, so I'm gonna let's stick with Nazareth here just for a little bit to see if he's going to be able to improve. He is the provisional pole sitter. Lucchesi, Kay Lucchesi here just crossed the line. It's a 1:31.224, I should say, for Lucchesi, and that's good enough for P2 for the Aston Martin driver here. So very good lap time, but just not quick enough to take that provisional pole from Nazareth, who comes through Sector 2. He's faster by nearly 2.5 tenths of a second, so looking to be on pace to set a 1:30.6. So extend that gap and essentially open the opportunity to say, hey, catch me if you can, other drivers on the field. I've already got a 4 tenths of a second gap to P2, and I'm about to make this a little bit bigger here as he comes around the final corner, and he does improve. It's not by much though, only about a 1/10.5 of a second. It's a 1:30.735 for It's Nazareth, but the job is done. He does extend that lead, but VR46 Yarno chips away at it very quickly there. It's a 1:31.1 for VR46 Yarno in the Williams here. He goes up to P2, and as qualifying is starting to dwindle down, we're going to start seeing these times really improve. We're going to start seeing a lot of drivers maybe jumping up the field, and I think now a lot of drivers sitting in the pits are going to get ready to get out and set what could be their final lap times of the session. But still a little under 4 minutes to go, so there's still time remaining. Just really not that much here in this short qualifying that's really flown by so far. Lots of very quick lap times, but really you can't expect anything less from Division 2. I just noticed Knight crossed the line there up to P8. It's a 1:31.322, and you can see the gaps here from essentially, I'll say position 3 all the way down to position 10. Oh no, hang on a minute, that's Slayer going for a little bit of a spin on the exit of that corner, getting a little bit too quick on the power and losing the back end of that Williams. So that is going to be an abandoned lap for the Williams driver of Slayer. A little unfortunate there, but like we're mentioning, with 3 minutes to go, he still has time to get another lap time set. I just don't think he's gonna be able to get a fresh set of tires on. So he's gonna have to commit to that set. So maybe save them a little bit here through sector 3 and really get that run to get one more lap time set. We'll see what the strategy is as the session plays out. Now, meanwhile, Irish New Potato looking to improve on his lap time, currently in P11 with a 1:31.6. But like I was mentioning, from P3 all the way down to around P10, it's separated by seemingly 0.2 of a second. Irish New Potato, meanwhile, the second driver to break into the sub 131s. He's finding pace here in this short qualifying session. It's a 1:30.979. So good enough for P2, good enough for a front row of the grid for the time being, but not quick enough to snag that pole position away from its Nazareth, who still has a 0.2 of a second lead on pole compared to everybody else. But we saw DeRoy here, or DeRoll. I'm trying to make that out. I can't tell if that's an I or an L. But DeRoll here is running P5, and we'll see if he can improve. He's a driver to keep an eye out for here. A little bit of an unknown in Division 2 as far as I'm aware, but he's showing a lot of pace early on. Crosses the line, and there's that pace once again. It's a 1:30.841. So we're seeing the drivers ticking away. They're chipping away at that gap here that its Nazareth has built in qualifying. But still, no drivers just yet that have been able to catch up to him. Now here, with a minute and a little bit to go, you're already starting to see drivers that have essentially completed their qualifying program. They know they won't have time to set one more lap time in, so they're taking an early breather, an early break here. The likes of Kay Lucchesi, Knight, Dark, and Jordan, of course, who will be starting in the back of the grid with no time on the board so far. But down to nearing the final minutes here of qualifying, 45 seconds to go. The pressure is on. You can see the outlap tags here from so many drivers. The question, though, still remains. Oh, no! And that is the end of Krishna's qualifying. Once again, getting a little bit too quick on the power on the exit of that corner. And unfortunately, that is the end of the Ferrari driver's qualifying session here. Will not be improving from that 1:31.2. And you know he might be a little bit frustrated there. That looked to be an Alfa Romeo that went for a little bit of a spin. That might have been, I think that was, yes, that was Chris D7, who was down in 19th, and that's not going to help his case to try to improve his lap time. Nole in a very shocking P18 right now. Maybe not feeling all that comfortable here around Russia, but his qualifying hit 0. We have a new driver sitting on provisional pole, DeRoll. He found more pace. It's a 1:30.5. Nazareth, meanwhile, a 1:30.7, was unable to improve on that lap time. Meanwhile, Irish New Potato out of fuel. That's the end of his qualifying session. Cohen, on the other hand, looks to be on a flying lap. Zuwil a little bit further ahead on a flying lap right now, so stick with Zuwil for the time being, as I think he's going to be the next driver to cross the line. We have the Ferrari of Nole, who's right behind there. Might have been caught up in a little bit of that dirty air, but Duil around the final corner. What's the time going to be? Jumps up to P4. Nole jumps up to P13. We already covered Irish New Potato. I think Cohen is going to be the next driver to cross the line. Will he improve? Yes, he does. It's a 1:31.001. So Theon, meanwhile, around the final corner, goes for a little bit of a spin. So very quickly, though, getting out of the way of Kurt Valletta, who does cross the line and goes up to P13 here. But that was close there. I'm sure Kurt Valletta's eyes probably shot open there, seeing Sophion just trying to get out of the way, but still going through that apex. But this is going to do it here for this qualifying session, and it's going to be the McLaren of Darrell who is going to take pole position here. Nazareth, he did everything he had to do, but just unfortunately did not have the pace at the end of the session to hang on to that provisional pole position. He will, though, get a front row of the grid start as consolation prize here, with the Irish Snoop Potato rounding out the top 3. But what a qualifying session that is there. And honestly, this has got me very excited here for the race that we will be kicking off in just a few moments. But all the while, I'm taking a look here at the chat. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining in. Let's see. We've got a couple fans here for Vex here. Vex the Vexter fans cheering him on. So we'll see how that support is going to help him out here. But through the order here one more time, like I said, Darrell is in P1, Nazareth in second, Irish Snoop Potato rounding out the top 3, Cohen, Zuil rounding out the top 5 here, VR46 Sarno, Lucchesi MLT, Krishna, Rotation, and Knight round out the top 10, all separated by nearly just under 8/10 of a second. Sophion, Calm Koala, Kurt Valletta, D-Morts, Nole rounding out the top 15, Slayer Dark, Vex the Vexter, Chris D7, and Jordan round out the grid here. So Vex the Vexter gonna have his work cut out for him down in P18. But still, we saw it here. Funny enough, today, I'm not going to say any spoilers here for those who haven't seen the Grand Prix, but we've seen a last question mark challenge already once today, so we could very much so get a little bit more of that. Looking at a little bit more of the chat here as we're jumping into the race. Nice and sunny skies. I did see a note here that we could get some rain near the very end, and could possibly even come sooner if we do get safety cars. So that is going to be a little bit of a part of the strategy that drivers are going to have to keep an eye out for here. When is the rain going to come? If the rain is going to come, and will they need to make a pit stop for those intermediate tires before the end of the race? We'll find that out here as we're going to be kicking the race off in just a second. Looking at, once again, back at the chat here, looks like Jordan's pad messed up and he got stuck turning left, and that was a bit of an accident coming out of the pits. So maybe not the best moment for Jordan there. But, of course, going to be starting the race down in last, but can definitely make up a few positions here for sure. Your own Visser cheering on Cohen. I'm seeing here a little bit of correction here. It's pronounced DeRoy. Thank you, Mike, for correcting me on that. So DeRoy is on pole position here as he leads the field for the formation lap. It's Nazareth down in second. Nude Potato rounding out the top 3. Cohen in fourth. Seeing a little bit of love for Cohen as well in the chat. Who is in fourth, and Zuil rounding out the top 5. VR46 Sarno in 6th, K. Lucchesi in 7th, Krishna in 8th, Rotation in 9th, Knight rounding out the top 10. They are all going to be starting on the soft tires, as that is the tire that they set their quickest lap time on in qualifying. Now, poor man's pole position, best of the rest. That goes to Sophion, who is down in P11th, and with that free choice of tires, he decided he wanted the medium tires here. So did Calm Koala down in 12th here, also starting on the mediums. Meanwhile, Kurt Valletta and D-Morts both starting on the soft tires. Nole rounding out the top 15. He's on the mediums. Slayer on the softs in 16th. Dark on the mediums in 17th. Vex the Vexter. He's a little bit of an odd one out here, opting for the white-walled hard tires to start that race down in P18 with Chris D7 in 19th on the mediums, and Jordan looking for that pace on the soft tires as he rounds out the grid here on this formation lap, and going to be looking to charge his way up the field, as are probably 19 other drivers as well. But coming through, nearing the end of the formation lap, drivers just getting the final little bit of heat in their tires, getting that final little bit of preparation there. As you can see, only a few corners to go now before they take their spots on the grid to get set for the 5 red lights for what is going to be 27 very exciting laps here around the Sochi Autodrome for the Russian Grand Prix. There is your predicted pit stop strategy. 1 stop, soft to mediums, or of course mediums to softs if you prefer, if that's what you're running here near the back. Of course, the 2 stop strategy is always open here, but around here around Russia, the tire wear really wasn't all that bad, at least in my own experience. We'll see how the drivers are going to handle this, but here we go. As the grid is lined up, we are just about set. Let's do it. Up to 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights. And the lights are off, and we are racing here in Russia, as it looks to be a very good start from a lot of the grid. A Red Bull really losing the back end there, a little bit too much power. Nazareth, though, getting ahead very quickly through into turn 1 as they approach the hard braking zone of turn 2. Looking to be nearly 3 wide, though, right behind with Arshu Potato and DeRoy battling it out. They go side by side. DeRoy going a little bit deep, along with that looked to be Luchesi a little bit behind. So going through turn 2, through the swinging left-hander bank, we've got nearly side by side. 2 by 2 here. Duwill and DeRoy, VR and Luchesi, Knight and Krishna all battling it out here. What a sight to see in the midfield, as now we're coming through the 90-degree corners. That was Luchesi. Oh my goodness! And there goes DeRoy very quickly out of the race. My eye took off of him for just a second to see Luchesi going very deep there, and as I look back, that's DeRoy out of this race. So unfortunate, as just as quickly as he started, that's the end. But oh no, and that's rotation also out of this race, and that is going to bring out a virtual safety car here for lap 1. So heartbreak for the McLarens here in the Division 2 Championship, as both drivers not making it through 2 sectors here on lap 1, and unfortunately they are the first 2 DNFs out of this race, and here under what is now a full caution safety car to clear up those cars, clear up that debris. We have, it's Nazareth leading the way after getting a fantastic start. Irish New Potato finds himself in P2, and Zuwil, look at that, in a very familiar spot here on that in that P3 very early on. But my goodness, that was a very hectic start of the race there for a lot of drivers, especially from P4, P5 all the way down after turn 2 through that sweeping left-hander bank here of what is turn 3. It was essentially 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 there, almost in IndyCar formation there, you could say, battling for position. But of course that did mean a little bit of chaos going through what is the very tricky 90-degree corners that really make you use the entirety of the track. Very difficult to go side by side through this section here in Sector 2. And I think possibly attempted by some of the drivers. Some got it to work for them, but others unfortunately did not work too well. But that is the sit rep here. Both McLarens out of this race very early on. We are under safety car here, and just awaiting for the cue to catch up so we can go back to green flag racing. Now, of course, the likes of Knight, Slayer, and Demorts, they've all decided to take a pit stop and put on a fresh set of tires. Get off of those soft tires that they might have started the race with. Adapt the strategy and put on a fresh set of mediums to go a little bit longer. I've seen the medium tires, they can go about, I would say, 15 to 20 laps-ish. I mean, 20's pushing it. You're going to feel a lot of wear on those medium tires. It can be done. but they're going to be screaming at you by the end of the session. But of course, at this point, it might be worth the gamble, especially with that rain possibility right at the end of the race that I'm sure is in the back of the head of a lot of these drivers, considering maybe take the mediums, and if it rains here around lap 22, 23, and everybody needs to pit for a set of intermediate tires anyways, then all the better. You're running that strategy pretty well, but we'll see how that plays out. And the key, of course, is if that rain comes early enough, the safety car here is going to help, as lap times are going to be very slowed down here under safety car compared to what it would be under the full green flag racing. But that is essentially the situation here. But of course, with only about a third of a lap to be done, really not much to go over here. If I take a look at the position order changes here, you're seeing the likes of Knight Demors losing out in a couple positions. That's quite alright because they took their pit stops. Jordan just coming out of the pits, and he put on what looked to be a fresh set of medium tires as well. Cohen, though, unfortunately looks to be the biggest loser here. He's down 5 positions, down in P9 from where he started, up in 4th place. Meanwhile, Kurt Valletta up 5 positions. Com Koala up 6 positions from P12 up to P6. So we got a fantastic start there, and we'll be looking to move up. But they are the biggest movers, along with Vex the Vexter, Chris D7 as well. But that is essentially the sit rep here with the position changes here after that start that saw everybody battle hard, battle clean. But unfortunately, for the likes of Rotation and DeRoy, their race ended a little bit quicker than they might have hoped for here, and that is what brought out that full safety car. But if I let's see here, let's actually get the tire back up just very quickly. You can see, yeah. So essentially the top 9, other than Com Koala, are all on the soft tires. Then it's mediums, other than Vex the Vexter, who's made those hard tires work pretty well for him, and of course the fresh medium tires from a lot of the grid. But we got more news, better news here. The safety car is coming in at the end of this lap, so we will be going back to green flag racing to start lap 4. Let's switch over to Nazareth, who is the de facto safety car here. He's got 2 corners to go, leaving a little bit of space here for the safety car. You can probably come to expect the restart to happen at the end of the final corner regardless, so not too much worry here for Chekhovs. But back to green flag we go, and it's looking to be a good start from Nazareth. Irish Sweet Potato Will having a good start, but here comes Krishna on VR46 Yarno. Is he going to go for it into turn 2? It's going to be close, being forced to the outside, but no, having to sit single file. Meanwhile, though, Luchesi getting ahead of Com Koala, who falls down to P7. That looks to be the difference in tires there. The soft tires just finding a little bit more pace, and Luchesi making the most of them. Meanwhile, Chris D7 getting ahead of Vex the Vexter, and right behind them, you can see that's Night and Dark battling it out. There looked to be a little bit of contact there between those two drivers. Demorts and Slayer exchanging positions near the back of the field. Kurt Valletta and Com Koala exchanging positions, as Com Koala really needs to find a little bit more temperature in those mediums. He's got to find a bit more pace, or he might risk losing out on a lot of those positions gained that he had over the first little bit. But here in this situation, Knight that we're seeing on screen, Dark is really putting the pressure. It's settled itself down just a little bit here, just in time for me to switch over to a little bit further up here. Now you've got Com Koala chasing down Kurt Valletta right behind, but that's a Red Bull of Cohen, not giving much room. But Com Koala going very deep on the exit of that corner there, and that maybe just opened the window of opportunity for Cohen, who I think wanted to go for it, but just as quickly as that opportunity opened, the opportunity closed, unfortunately, for the Red Bull drivers. So will be remaining in P9. Nazareth, though, sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Zuwil is under pressure. Here comes VR. He's going to go for the inside line. Is he going to get the overtake done into turn 2? It's close. Zuwil having to go a little bit deep, and he has to watch out for the Ferrari of Krishna now, who's right behind. He's going to take the wider line, but Zuwil finds the extra pace there with that inside line. So Noah won't be losing out on 2 positions. Meanwhile, Com Koala going side by side here with Kurt Valletta. Thought about going for the overtake, just didn't quite work out. There's the Red Bull of Cohen trying to get ahead as Com Koala really putting that Alpine defending very aggressively on the Red Bull driver here. But for Cohen, he's still stuck behind Com Koala, just can't seem to get by the Alpine driver there, who is doing a fantastic defending job here. But once again, a little bit of retool, a little bit of refocus, and he's gonna go back to it. We've got a yellow flag though, and that's Slayer. Slayer unfortunately had a bit of a moment further down the field, brought out the yellow flag, but that looks to be essentially all that's going to be. Continuing on his way, we'll monitor Slayer to see if he's going to have to take a pit stop, but at least for now, he is going to have his work cut out for him, just having to catch up the back of the field. Might be hoping for a little bit of a gift here, quite possibly. But oh no, there goes Com Koala. What happened to Com Koala? Oh, he's getting back on track. Who nearly took Demorts with him there, as the ghost just disappeared at the worst possible time. I think he just went for a little bit of a spin, and you can see a lot of heat on those mediums. He's losing, he's tank slapping all over the place here, and that's gonna let Vex the Vexter get ahead. Here comes Jordan now, right alongside. He's got the better line, and I think that's going to be all she wrote here for Jordan getting ahead. Meanwhile, Knight and Chris D7 having a little bit of a battle as they went through turn 2. Knight though finding that VTEC in that Alpine, it seems, getting ahead on the outside line, something that Krishna tried to do on Zuwil, I believe, but just couldn't get done a lap or 2 ago. But very crucially, Krishna did get ahead of Zuwil, who is now down in P5. Krishna up into P4. But the battle on your screen now, that was Knight, got ahead of Chris D7 up to P10 now is the other Alpine driver. So as one Alpine driver moves up the field, another Alpine driver unfortunately moving down. But oh no, that's Krishna out of this race. What happened? Oh, heartbreak for Krishna. That's going to bring out a full safety car there, as I don't know if there was any incident or any contact. It looked like similar to what we might have seen in qualifying from one of these drivers. I think just a little bit too quick on the power on the exit of that corner, and that is now a third driver out of this race, and we are back under safety car here for lap 6 out of 27, and that will very much so allow the likes of essentially the top 6 to pit. But I'm thinking the likes of Slayer, who to be fair caught right back up to the grid, and even Cohen, who will need to catch right back up to the grid as well. He's gotten a little bit of a gift here. Cohen down 13 positions, but I think he just came out of the pits, maybe fell victim to wing damage, so he was going to have his work cut out for him. My goodness, look at the traffic here on pit road, as they all took their pit stops here at the same time. Everybody getting off of those soft tires, and crucially, those who started on the mediums and those who pit for those medium tires are really benefiting from this here. So Fion is taking the lead of the race. Nole is in second here, with Knight now finding himself in a podium position up to P3, and even Chris D7 up into fourth here. Demort's running out the top 5, and Vex the Vexter here up into P6 on those hard tires. He does have a penalty to his name though here, just a 3-second for possibly extending track limits. But I do think between now and the end of the race, he most definitely probably will not be the only one with at least 3 seconds next to his name. Russia, I think I was mentioning this in qualifying, this track is very much known for bringing out the penalties here from even the best of drivers, as they're just extending the limits as much as they can. And there's some corners that it seems like it's a little bit of a roulette. Just depends on how the marshals feel that day in that particular moment. You'll get a penalty one lap and then take the exact same line, and there won't be any issues with it. so we'll see if that's going to affect any of the drivers. We'll see how that's going to play out. But of course, for now, not much is going to be happening because we're under safety car here at lap 7 out of 27. For the accident caused by Krishna, who is now out of this race, leaving points on the board, and that is very unfortunate for Krishna, as he was running in a very strong spot. He was in P4 before the accident, but of course it happens sometimes. It's part of racing, and just gonna have to come back even stronger next week is Krishna here, but. This is the situation. I'm seeing Nicholas Simplar indicating Cohen should be in Div 4. I'm not too sure if I agree with that, mostly because that means somebody in that Red Bull team is gonna have to give up his seat, and it darn well won't be me in Div 4 to give up my Red Bull seat. but Cohen, I think it's just a little bit of joke here, a little bit of fun that we like to have here in the chat with the drivers that we all know and love. Retracted the message. Alright, so I'm gonna head back to the racing before I get a little bit too distracted here with the chat here. But I got a little bit of a laugh, and I think a little bit too late for that. Your own Visser calling me out. I should be in Div 8, and you know, where's the lie? I don't see any lie with that. Fortunately, with only 4 divisions, it is very well known that I am a I'm a 5th division driver in a 4-division league. Oh, Nico, not me. Well, here, me and Nico can both run Division 8 together. I think we'll be a 2-man guaranteed podium. That I think that's probably the way we can go about that there. But yeah, under safety car, Sophion leading the way, Nole in second, and Knight rounding out the podium. Not much has changed here, of course, with the safety car. We did have a couple of pit stops here, and I'm noticing the likes of Com Koala taking a 5-second penalty. I think our Snow Potato already had his, but very unfortunate for Com Koala taking that penalty and finding himself in the back of the grid here. Gonna have his work cut out for him and a half here, trying to work his way back up. But safety car is coming in. We can go back to green flag racing so I can stop getting distracted by the chat that is honestly pretty fire, if I'm being honest here. But here we go. Sophion will be leading the charge here, just getting that last little bit of heat in the cars. You can see a little bit of a bunch up here in these very slow corners. You gotta be cautious, gotta be careful here with the drivers. You don't want to be taking a 5-second penalty for minor contact here under the restart. But around the final corner, and we are back to racing to start lap 9, and it looks like Sophion got a very good start, but right behind here you can see D-Morts putting a lot of pressure on Chris D7, not using much battery though, so I think going into turn 2, we're going to be relatively safe here, as meanwhile Nazareth getting ahead of Jordan. The 2 AlphaTauri drivers, I think, not going to be battling too much amongst each other. Jordan maybe knowing the pace Nazareth has here from what we saw in qualifying, but oh no, that's Chris and D-Morts out of this race. What happened here between the 2 of them? Oh, that's right there. In turn 4, it looks like they both got involved in that accident. You have to think there might have been contact between the 2 drivers. It's a yellow flag, but we're gonna continue racing for the moment. Do-Will and VR switch positions here in the process as they get ahead. Do-Will up into P8. Meanwhile, Nazareth very quickly caught back up to Vex the Vexter, and there is a tire difference. Nude Potato and VR switching positions as well, as VR on a charge. Kurt Valletta and Cohen having a little bit of a drag race here as they're heading down the back straight. Nazareth getting ahead of Vex the Vexter in the braking zone. Who's going to get ahead here? Is it going to be Cohen? Is it going to be Kurt Valletta? It's close, and it is going to be Kurt Valletta who gets ahead, but no, Cohen finds the traction on the exit of that corner. He gets right back ahead. There goes Com Koala too, who gets ahead. Kurt Valletta really struggling for pace here in that section there for Sector 3. The very slow corners that seemingly can make or break a lot of laps here. And for Kurt Valletta, just focusing a little bit too much on the battle going into the braking zone, but compromising his line through the next few corners, and that opened Cohen and Com Koala to get the overtake done. Meanwhile, now Jordan gets ahead of Vex the Vexter, and I think for the the Aston Martin driver, he just needs the extra laps to find that extra heat, find that pace, compared to those with the medium tires who just have more raw pace. But of course, once the tires start to fall off, the medium tires that is, that's when we're going to start seeing Vex the Vexter really start to make some moves up the grid. But for now, he is the center of attention from everybody. Will is next up on the list here. He's going to try to get ahead. I thought he was going to go for it right then and there, but some slots in right behind. But now on the exit, taking the inside line, is going to turn into the outside line. There's contact, and there goes Vex the Vexter. I think Vex was trying to defend just a little bit too hard there, but unfortunately didn't realize how close Will was to his car. But it looks like Vex the Vexter got the worst of that. But this is chaos now. Irish New Potato and VR going side by side. They're going to touch wheels, I think, a little bit, but who's going to get ahead? It looks like it's going to be Irish New Potato for the time being, but they're still side by side, nearly 2x2, as Lucchesi and Cohen are having this little bit of a battle. They get that self sorted out. There goes Lucchesi. He does get ahead of Cohen. I think Com Koala now trying to get ahead of the Red Bull driver, as we're seeing VR 46 Yarno taking a pit stop. He's going to bow out of this battle, but Cohen and Com Koala now, they're going to have a little bit of a drag race. Kurt Valletta using both of them for slipstream, a little bit of a tow. Are we going to go 3 wide into turn 2? Surely we're not. No, I don't think we were, but it was close as they just get themselves sorted out in time for that corner here. But oh my goodness, hang on a minute. Knight now getting ahead of Nole, as just now took a look at the leaders and how close this gap was. But Sophion, he's having a dream race here after that restart, built the gap, and with the P2, 3, and 4 having this intense battle like they have been here, that's just allowed Sophion to grow a 2-second gap, and now he just has to manage this, and he's got this race surely under his control for the time being. But of course, I think we still have some pit stops that some of these drivers are going to have to take. Yellow flags here as Vex the Vexter, I think, is bringing them out. Not to worry too much. Looks like things have settled down just a little bit here, or at least as far as Nazareth is concerned. He's close, but not really making a push. Will, meanwhile, right alongside, there's a little bit of contact there with Slayer coming through that corner, and Vex the Vexter is now out of this race, as that's a DNF, and that is going to bring out another safety car here, and Lucchesi is out of this race as well. What happened to Lucchesi? Where is that car? It looks like he might have just gone a little bit too deep on I don't know the corner number, but I can see him there. VR46 Narno is going to get close there. You just go down the pace here, take the left, take the right, take the left, and going into the braking zone that personally I go down in second gear, right into this corner here. I think maybe went a little bit too deep, could have even ridden that sausage curb. That wall comes a lot quicker than you'd like to think, and that is Lucchesi out of this race. But Kurt Valletta is out too. What happened to Kurt Valletta? Is he along the start-finish straight, or is that in the pit lane? Let's see where that is. I'm not seeing the car. I think that is just Kurt Valletta retiring out of this race, not happy with the outcome here. And just like that, we will be under safety car, and just like that, we've got 12 runners left in this race, as it feels like we lost half the remaining drivers just in a span of 1 lap there. But now, look at this, it's Knight leading the race here. He is in P1 under safety car, but I'm sure right once we go back to green flag racing and Nole, Nazareth, they're going to be on a charge, as Sophion using the opportunity under safety car to using this opportunity under safety car to take a pit stop, and let's quickly get this. Let's get the tire graph back up. I've been trying to keep it away just to give more screen room to see the cars and see the battles here. But let's put it back up now that we're under safety car, so you can see Knight on 9-lap old medium tires. He can still go a little bit of a ways. Maybe I would say another another 11 laps, or 10, 11 laps. Nole on 2-lap older tires. He's on 11 laps, 11-lap old. Nazareth, meanwhile, on only 4-lap old medium tires. So out of the top 3, he's in the best position out of all of them here to really go a little bit further. Who was that? That's going to be Nole, going to be taking a pit stop here. Now, I did look down at the chat very quickly. Com Koala giving us a live update as of 1 minute ago. Rain in 10 minutes, according to his engineer in that car, I believe. So, with that said, and that's actually exactly what I thought Nole was going to do. He's going to put on a set of soft tires because he might have gotten that similar message that rain is coming. And if that's going to be coming in 10 minutes here, that's going to, it might allow for the whole field to pit for the intermediate tires, bring that extra pit stop in. So for those who are in the lead, they can go probably for 10 minutes here. The likes of Knight, Nazareth, Jordan, Slayer, they might be able to go, especially everybody else behind them who just recently took their pit stops. But, I mean, if you had to take one anyways, if you're not feeling comfortable making it to that changeover period, you might as well pit for a set of soft tires. You're going to catch right back up to the grid, and with 12 drivers left, that's it's going to make things I wouldn't say easy for overtaking, but you're not going to have to charge up through nearly as much of the field here to get back in decent track position, and then take that pit stop from the intermediate tires when everybody else opts to. Similarly to what we normally tend to see here, once one driver goes, everybody tends to go. But for now, lap 13 out of 27 under safety car. It's nice and sunny skies, but you can start to see on the onboard just a little bit more cloud cover that is starting to creep in slowly but surely onto the race track. So that could make things very interesting here, especially with the already 3 safety cars that have essentially brought that rain closer and closer, and are going to mean more laps here under the wet weather conditions is what I was trying to say here, as I'm a little bit distracted with the safety car coming in at the end of this lap. Knight is leading the charge here. We'll see if he can continue the trend of leaders getting the restart they're hoping for, but he's got not one but 2 AlphaTauris that are breathing right down his neck, trying to get ahead, and they're probably going to be working as a team here. I think Nazareth is going to be released to charge after Knight. Meanwhile, Jordan is going to play the job of defender and keep everybody else behind. But here we go around the final corner. It's a decent start from Knight, but Nazareth's got a good one as well, and you can see exactly that. Jordan not nearly as much on the pace here, as Slayer is going to be charging down towards turn 2, try to go for it. Meanwhile, Irish New Potato, you can see, trying to make a look on Will, trying to put pressure on the Haas driver, but of course, it's really difficult to force Will into a mistake. A very skilled driver is Will, but now further down the field, here comes Cohen, charging down, who nearly going very wide, trying to get past Nole, but the Ferrari driver putting that car exactly where he needs to defend that position. And through these 90-degree corners, maybe not so much of an overtaking opportunity, but more of a set yourself up for the next opportunity, which is down that back straight where there's normally DRS. But here, after the restart, everybody making it through relatively cleanly. You can see the soft tire runners starting to close that gap. We'll see if they have the pace here. Here comes Sophion, first and foremost. He's gonna go to the left-hand side of Dark and charge down relatively quickly, and I think he's gonna be well clear of the Mercedes car. Yes, he is. But meanwhile, I thought Nole maybe would have had an opportunity to go for it as well, but no, it wasn't quite the case. Sophion, though, he's on a charge, was already thinking about the next driver ahead, Irish New Potato, but that unfortunately was not meant to be through that slow corner. But here we go. Around, we had 1 lap under green flag racing. Knight was able to hang on to the lead, but here comes Nazareth. He's close. not using any battery, relying on the slipstream. Knight, though, defending towards the inside. Is he going to get back on the racing line? Yes, he is, but needs to leave space there, it seemed. Taking turn 2 and through the sweeping left-hander of turn 3. Nazareth, ooh, I thought he was going to go for it on the inside line, but no, maybe if he had used a little bit of battery, he could have put his nose up in there, but wasn't quite the case. He's gonna be patient. He knows he's got time to work with here. But Knight is maybe starting to feel the pressure here in the lead. But crucially, though, between Nazareth and Jordan, it's a 1.5 gap here between the two of them. So that AlphaTauri strategy is working to a T now, as Jordan doing a fantastic job keeping parking the bus, so to say, and keeping everybody behind. But we've got a lot of quick drivers. Oh, as Koala's out of this race, he had an accident there, I should say, and that is an Alpine driver out, and that is going to bring out another safety car here, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness, what are we witnessing? We're down to 11 drivers. This is now, what, 4 safety cars here. Lap 15 out of 27. It looks like there might have been a little bit of contact between Koala and Jarno here. Let's take a look at Jarno's car. It doesn't look like there's any front wing damage there, but according to Koala, it looks like there might have been a little bit of contact. Irish Potato, ooh, he's taking a pit stop here, and so is Dart for that matter. An interesting call to take that pit stop. VR also is gonna be pitting. So let's see, is there gonna be any? Oh no! Oh, that was a double stack from the Mercedes. That is not what you want to be seeing there. I mean, thankfully it is under the safety car, so they can catch back up. But that's a lot of time lost. It is just going to be a fresh set of tires here for VR46 Jarno, so it does confirm there's no damage on that front wing, or not nearly enough damage to warrant a wing change. But there we go, those 3 drivers exiting the pit lane now. We'll be continuing on the road, and we'll be catching up to the grid. But lap 16 out of 27, back under safety car here. It's been a little bit of a theme here in Russia, and I think I made a comment of that here in qualifying right on the intro. No shortage of chaos, no shortage of action, no shortage of controversy here, and in the Division 2 race here for round 6, it's definitely not an exception to that rule. It's been anything but a snooze fest here in this race. But we'll see. The laps are dwindling down. It is we're approaching nearly the 10-lap sprint to the finish, and very crucially, it's still nice and sunny skies here. I'm still waiting for that cloud cover to creep in and really shake things up here in this race, so to say. But for now, Knight leading the charge, and then it's the 2 AlphaTauris of Nazareth and Jordan, P2, P3. Slayer in 4th, having a good race for the Williams team so far, and Zuwil rounding out the top 5. But as we're here under safety car, I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water here just to get myself refueled, retooled, ready to go for what is going to be a fantastic safety car restart here, right as Sophion and Nole make a little bit of contact there, and Sophion unfortunately taking a 5-second penalty to be added to his time. But I will be back in just a moment, as we'll get to see Knight following that safety car here on lap 17 out of 27. Alrighty, I am back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience, and once again, thank you so much for tuning in here to this race, to round 6 of the ISRL Division 2 Championship. It's the Sochi Autodrome, it's the Russian Grand Prix, and if you're just joining us, you've missed a lot here so far. We had a lot of action, lots of battles here on track, but of course the best has yet to come. Under safety car, 10 laps to go in this Grand Prix. And counting, with still possibility of rain just lingering here. We've got word from 2 different drivers that we could be seeing rain here by the end of the race. Of course, the more laps we do under safety car, the more that rain is going to creep in closer and closer. It is only going to be light rain, but apparently, supposedly, allegedly, the rain is coming. But as you can see right now, as the safety car is coming in, it's still nice, clear, sunny skies. But once again, that cloud cover is creeping in more and more. As when I jumped into the onboard, there was only a cloud or two a couple laps ago. We're seeing a lot more now, so we'll have to see how this is going to play out. But getting ready under the safety car once again for the 4th time here. Second time for Knight, leading the charge, going a little bit quicker now, getting that run. Nazareth read that perfectly, it seems, as he's going to be on a charge here as they head towards the kink that is turn 1. Not much overtaken into turn 1, but into turn 2. Here we go. Knight defending down the inside. They're going to go side by side here. Who's going to get the position as they go side by side through turn 2? And it is going to be Nazareth who gets the lead, but Knight gets the outside line. He's going to have to go the long way around. Unfortunately, though, the traction, the pace wasn't there, but who nearly into the rear diffuse and actually has to go deep on the exit of turn 4. But through sector 1, everybody making it through cleanly, but Nazareth retakes the lead of this race here on lap 18 out of 27. No late, taking a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's going to be added to his time as he is trying to push here in this midfield pack, but everybody now so close together. But once again, here is Jordan in P3, who's gonna let the top 2 essentially run away, and meanwhile he can just focus on keeping everybody behind. But Sophion on those soft tires, getting ahead of his teammate of Zuwil, and you know Zuwil might not fight. And look at this, the sun has disappeared, the cloud cover has really crept in. The question now is, when will the rain come, if it's going to come, as we've got 9 laps to go in this Grand Prix. But as we've seen, the rain can really switch. Oh, look at that pace from Sophion, as nearly into the back of Slayer he goes, but very quickly on those soft tires gets ahead. Cohen, meanwhile, losing not 1, not 2, but 3 positions, bringing out a yellow flag. I think he had a moment there, struggling a little bit with those medium tires, as now he's got a 2.5 second gap. He's gonna have to close up here. Meanwhile, VR46 Yarno nearly alongside of Irish New Potato. They make contact, the two of them, as they're battling it out. It is going to be Nude Potato who is going to take P8. VR46 Yarno in P9 now, as he's gonna have to try to go for it once again. But it's been crazy battles. This has been essentially what we've been seeing through the entirety of the race so far, and I think the best is yet to come here, as I was questioning whether this rain was going to creep in, but we're starting to see the cloud cover, and quite possibly in a lap or 2 we could start seeing those raindrops. I'm waiting for the flicker, but look at this, from Slayer downwards, it's nearly 2x2. No lay, trying to get ahead of Do Will, just could not get ahead. Arshu Potato, that might open the gap for him, but it is not going to for the time being, as they're both on similar strategies, both running the soft tires. Meanwhile, Sophion, he gets released, he gets ahead of Jordan, who can do nothing but just watch as Sophion gets ahead. Zuwil getting ahead of Slayer, as meanwhile now Slayer stuck in the middle of this battle. No lay, I think, is next going to be next to try to get ahead here, but he's going to have to watch out. He can't force an overtake as Nude Potato right behind him here, as he's going to try to take the outside line. And oh, did you see that? I did. It looks like the drizzle is starting at the onboard here. The question is it going to be enough to warrant one final pit stop for intermediate tires? Ladies and gentlemen, you do not want to go anywhere, because this race this excitement, this action has only just begun. Nole trying to stick his nose down the outside here. It's close. He doesn't quite have the overtake yet, but with the inside line, it's gonna be a battle, and there goes the Irish Shoot Potato. He's gonna get involved. They're 3 wide just about. Nole gets ahead. There went a bit of front wing, a little bit of end plate that just went soaring across the screen there. I have no idea who that belonged to, but you gotta think maybe it was Slayer or VR46 Yarno's little bit of front wing. Yes, that was VR's front wing. As Cohen, he's out of this Grand Prix. He left the session, but crucially, this car is still in the race. So I'm not too sure if that was just connection issues for Cohen. I'm gonna hope that's the case and it wasn't just a frustrated leave, because of course that is not part of the rule book there. Meanwhile, Will getting ahead of Jordan, and the pace for Jordan is starting to fall off, as I thought Nole was gonna get ahead of him, but not the case. Now he does, but there goes Irish Shoot Potato now ahead of Jordan. What is going on here on those tires? It's just the 16-lap old medium tires from Jordan that are just starting to hit that cliff there. I mentioned they can go 20 laps, but they're going to be screaming at you 16 laps in, and those tires are screaming at Jordan the same way that I'm sure those 18-lap old tires are screaming at Knight. It's just he has a bit more of a gap to work with, but Sophion is going to be on a charge. The question, though, can Sophion catch up quick enough before we end up having the pit for the intermediate tires, if we do need to pit for intermediate tires, and essentially force everybody to be on the same strategy. The rain is starting to fall a little bit. Not much spray, though, coming off of these tires, though, so we're still in dry tire conditions, but with 6 laps to go to the end of the Grand Prix, crazier things have happened, and dare I say, crazier things have happened in the last 12 hours here in the Sochi Autodrome. So we will see how this is all going to play out, as Nazareth is leading Knight in second. You can see New Potato chasing down Will here for that P4. The rain is starting to fall more and more. I'm still not seeing any sign of struggling for grip from a lot of these drivers, as Dark is now getting ahead of Jordan, and I do think the likes of Jordan, Knight, Slayer, they're going to be the drivers to look out for when they start losing out on grip. That is going to be, I think, when they really start to slide around more than what they probably already have been. I think that's going to be the cue. Of course, DRS is still enabled here in this stage of the Grand Prix, so it's just a light drizzle. It's spitting out there, so to say, as I love to use that expression. So definitely not all that bad. Definitely manageable in the dry tire conditions here. But Sophion, that 1.3 second gap is down to 3/10 and counting. Heading into turn 2, Knight just ahead of Sophion, but with those soft tires, he's gonna find, I think, the pace. He's gonna go for it here sooner rather than later. Knight, he's gonna have to put his big boy defending pants on, I think, trying to keep by the very quick Sophion, who's on the quicker tire. Of course, they might start to hit the cliff, but I'm sure Knight's medium tires, as you can see, he's having to extend the track limits just a little bit there. 19-lap old. I think the tire advantage essentially just balances itself out here for these two drivers, but it's going to be close here. As they're chasing down, Slayer takes a 3-second time penalty that will be added to his time for extending the track limits here. But all eyes right now are on this battle for P2 and P3. If I switch over to the penalties, Sophion has 5 seconds. Knight has only 3 seconds. So even if Sophion gets ahead, as long as Knight can keep a 2-second gap, he still has that position as a little bit of a cushion. But of course, all it takes is one more corner cutting penalty to nullify that to nullify that advantage. So best to keep the driver behind and not have to worry about that. Elsewhere on your screen, you can see Dark chasing down Nole. Nole does have 3 seconds, but similar situation. Dark with none. but it only takes one warning as the conditions are starting to worsen here lap after lap. The question is going to come down to, are we going to see intermediate tires or will it be slicks to the end? DRS is still active, and here comes Dark down the outside. He's going to have to go the long way around. Not going to work out, but ooh, a little bit of a tank slapper and a half by Nolay on the exit of turn 2, and that might reopen the door for Dark. Thankfully, though, Nolay is able to find the pace, refine that traction quick enough, and not lose out on that position. I think Dark might have been a little bit compromised on his line through turn 2, which did not help his situation either. But it came close, but not quite meant to be. Slayer chasing down Jordan meanwhile in the process, but Knight is still very much so defending Sophion. But well, here, as I was quickly going to switch over to that battle here as they're heading down the DRS straight. Just afterwards, I'll switch back over. Oh, well, actually, hang on. Let's see. Here comes Dark. He does get past Nolay, but is he going to do it in time before the corner? Yes, he will. Well before the corner he goes. Slayer getting ahead of Jordan. And Jordan, I think he's just he's waiting it out, waiting for that time to put on the intermediate tires. But those mediums, they just fell off the cliff a couple laps ago. And that's why we're seeing him essentially working his way down the field rather than up the field like he might have been hoping for. But from P3 down to what is P9, maybe not the ideal strategy Jordan was hoping for, but I can't blame him for it, especially with all this talk of rain. It's starting to fall more. Sophion, ooh, fakes to the outside, moves to the inside, side by side through turn 2. They're still side by side now. Who's gonna get the move done? It's a similar situation, and it looks like Sophion will get ahead, but no, Knight comes right back. But as they go through turn 4 now, there's a little bit of contact. Knight having to go deep, and I think that's gonna be it. That's going to be Sophion who gets the overtake done. He's up into P2. Knight now down in P3 as he's going very deep in a lot of these corners. But he's going to have to keep that 2-second gap. And he's going to have to watch out in the process and not take too many more interesting lines, because he doesn't want to add to his penalty totals with already 3 seconds. 6 seconds could be the death of him here, as they might have to fall down the order. And meanwhile, our Shoot Potato, he's lurking in the shadows here in P4, driving a clean race, do will as well. So is Dark for that matter, but they're a little bit further behind. Here comes Knight though, back at Sophion, and Knight regains that P2. He regains that second position as with the help of DRS he gets ahead. Irish Shoot Potato meanwhile, he's oh, I thought he was going to go for it there in that braking zone. I think he thought about it too, but thought better of it, seeing that window of opportunity close very quickly on him before he could really get his nose in there. But here, lap 25 out of 27. The laps are ticking down. The rain is starting to fall, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough for an extra pit stop here in this stage of the race with 2 laps to go. Here comes Sophion. He thought about it once again, but now Irish Shoot Potato is getting involved. We've got these 2 drivers with soft tires on a charge here, but this might be a bit of a blessing if Knight can just stay ahead, because if Irish Shoot Potato wants to get past Knight, he's gonna have to get by Sophion. So if Knight can keep Sophion behind, he can essentially let Sophion battle with Irish Shoot Potato, like we're gonna see right now. Irish Shoot Potato gonna go for it. He thought about it as Sophion went deep in that corner. They're side by side, and there you go. The move is done. Irish Shoot Potato gets ahead up into a podium position, and he's going to be net second position here. With the penalties, but you know that Irish Shoot Potato, he wants that overtake done on track. He wants to get the move done on Knight on track so he can take that P2 on track. You don't want to rely on penalties if you don't have to. As a driver, you just want to get ahead. I thought he was going to go for the move there as the view switched, but not quite meant to be, but it's going to be close. Let's quickly switch back over to the tires. Irish Shoot Potato on 8-lap-old softs. Knight on 22-lap-old medium tires. My goodness. But at this point, Knight's going to have to go to the end. He can't afford taking a pit stop here and falling way down the order given where he is. He's going to have to hope for the best. I think he was banking on the intermediate tires being the tire to go to at the end of this race. But as we start to cross the line for the penultimate lap, it appears as if that opportunity to pit for the Inters is just going lesser and lesser as Irish New Potato gets ahead with the help of DRS, it seems. He goes up into P2, Knight down in P3. He might still have that podium, but no, Will is now closing that gap up as he's on those 18-lap-old mediums. He's got a little bit more pace here, a little bit more wear, and Sophion, I think, is a similar pace that he was pushing those tires quite a bit, but just could not, just ran out of grip, ran out of pace, ran out of raw pace. I wouldn't say the cliff is hit, but the traction there, that raw pace that those soft tires has, is essentially in a secondary mode here now, with those tires 13 laps old and might be at nearing 30 to 40% depending on how hard he pushed those tires. But it's the penultimate lap. It's been a hectic race here. Fantastic battles here. And we're creeping closer to the end of this Grand Prix as it's Nazareth is leading. And honestly, he's been the driver to beat. He's driven an absolute clinic here in qualifying in the race so far. And as he's coming around the final few corners, he's only going to have to run the lap one more time here before he can maybe see the checkered flag if he can keep it clean. But all eyes really are what's behind Nazareth as, oh no, VR taking a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That will be added on to his time, but I don't think it's going to affect him much here given the gaps. Dark, meanwhile, he's close. He's chasing down Will. And is he going to get it done into turn 2? No. He came close, but just could not get the overtake done as they're essentially stuck in this DRS train. And as I think so many drivers are banking for the intermediate tires, that just did not come. We're essentially in this situation where nobody's got pace on these tires. Everybody's just nursing them home to the end of this Grand Prix. We've got a yellow flag though, as I think that was VR. 46 Yarno bringing it out as he's struggling through turn 4. That might open an opportunity for Cohen here to get ahead. It's definitely going to close that gap right back up. But on the final lap now, you can see Dark still chasing down Will, who's chasing down Sophion. But I think a lot of these drivers, they might settle for that single file. They're going to go for it if the opportunity opens. But in these very tricky conditions, you're not going to force a move just because you can. But let's see. Oh, I thought he was going to go for it there. He left me guessing as the camera angle switched, but unfortunately the corner came a little bit too quickly. But here, coming around the final few corners now, it's the AlphaTauri who's driven a fantastic race, and he is going to take the victory in style. Nazareth wins the Grand Prix here for the Division 2 Championship. Irish New Potato in P2, but it's going to be Will who takes the final podium position thanks to driving a clean race here. Oh my, what a race that was. Dark in 4th, Knight falls down to P5 here, but he still does end up ahead of Sophion. Nole in 7th as Slayer crosses the line in P8. Jordan, he had the strategy down. He was running in P3, but that pit stop window just did not come. But he still ends up in P9, snags some points here as the final 2 drivers just need to cross the line. But like I said, that was a fantastic race, and I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due for Nazareth. I mean, he definitely earned that victory here. Qualifying was nearly perfect for him. Lost out to DeRoy right at the end there when the clock hit 0, but got the start he needed after the race. Had to battle back there with the pit stops, but once he regained the lead, he did not look back and essentially essentially forced everybody else to try to keep up, to play catch up with him, and nobody seemed to be on the pace. He just ran away. Knight, I know the likes of Knight, Sophion, they tried their best, but they got stuck fighting each other, which did help. But still, what a race that was. J-Moore's great race to watch. Thanks all. I do have to agree. I watched it, and that was fantastic. But one more time through the order, it's Nazareth from second on the grid to P1. He is your winner. He is your victor here in oh my goodness, in Russia, with Irish New Potato in second, Zuwil rounding out the podium there. Dark from P17 up to P4. It's not a last a question mark challenge, but it might as well be for Dark there. What a drive that was. Knight rounding out the top 5. Sophion, Nole, Slayer, Jordan, and VR round out the top 10. Cohen in 11th. And then you have the retirements, the DNFs, Calm Koala, Kurt Valletta, and the rest of the gang there, like we saw. But that was a fantastic race, very hectic, very exciting, and for those watching at home, I hope you all enjoyed the race as much as I did here today. But for those who are sad that the race is done, fret not, because of course, yeah, actually, you know what? I'm gonna jump into the interviews there. I just gotta get the podium invited here. So I will be back in just a moment. But of course, in just under 40 minutes time, we have Division 1 as they take their turn here around Russia. And if what we've seen so far today at the Sochi Autodrome is anything to indicate, is anything to hint, we are in for a treat here for Division 1 for sure. But we'll get to that in just a moment. Allow me to just get the podium interviews sent off, as I just got to get the gamer tags in. So apologies for those watching the screen here. It's gonna go blue, but I'm just gonna get the interviews, the invite sent off to try to get the podium in. So let's see. Let's get that off. There's one here. Come on. Thank you for your patience, everybody. I'm just getting the podium invites sent off. We'll see if they jump in, or if they're going to be too busy drying off or celebrating the champagne here. But I'm going to get them invited out. There we go. Got the third one here. Add players, and there we go. The invites have been sent off. Hooray, we are back to seeing a screen here. Let's get that race-winning AlphaTauri on the screen, but not for too long, as I'm already seeing Irish New Potato jumping in here for the interview. So Irish New Potato, I'll start with you. Can you hear me at all? Perfect. So. Perfect. Alrighty. So, I mean, a good qualifying for you. Qualifying in P3, a solid race for you on the podium here in a second place. But talk us through it here. What were your thoughts on that Grand Prix? Right now, this is something that, I mean, I honestly want to ask every driver, but Irish New Potato, since you were first to go, I'll ask this one here for you. Were you banking on one more round of pit stops to possibly put on the intermediate tires, knowing the rain was coming at the end, or did you just forget about any possibility of rain, stick to the dry strategy, and figured I would just adapt when the time came. All right. Well, I mean, it definitely worked out for you there, and that's a good haul of points for yourself in the drivers' championship. And both that and the constructors, with both you and Dart coming P2 and P4. So congratulations on that and the fantastic drive. No problem. So next up, I'll jump over to the race winner actually in the AlphaTauri, Nazareth. It's Nazareth. Can you hear me at all?
Yep. Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. Let me just bump up my. Not hearing you too loud, so I was gonna bump up my my sound a little bit. But I mean, it was a fantastic qualifying for you. Hung on to provisional pole for just about the entire time. Just missed out at the end, starting in P2. But honestly, that didn't stop you with a fantastic fantastic start of the race, and honestly, just a great drive from there. But talk us through it. Firstly, what were your thoughts here on that Russian Grand Prix?
Well, first, when I got my first my first time, I got like 130.8, and to be honest, the lap felt pretty horrible. I thought that I was going to be inside the 31s, but I was actually surprised. And then I went for another push lap, and I was like 5 tenths down in the middle sector, and then I don't really remember which corner it was, but I lost maybe 4 tenths in one corner, and then I didn't decide. I needed to pit, just to, there wasn't enough time for another stop and go. So I didn't pit, and then I had to risk it all in one, and I used tires in one lap, and then I got 30.7. I knew I could do 30.3 too, but yeah. At the end, I lost pole position by nearly 2 tenths. So, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I did want to ask a little bit, because I think there were two occasions under the safety car that you were in second. Jordan, your teammate, actually was in third. Now, was there any discussion between the two of you of maybe how to approach the safety car restart, given that you both were so close together, or was it just a bit of a free for all and it just happened to work out the way it did?
Actually, it just happened to work out. I mean, I talked to him before the season if he wants to jump on a party, and then on chat party, and then talk about the strategy and what we should do. And then he said, just go with your race, and I'll just try to get us some points for the team. And yeah, I knew that he will let me go, so I had to overtake him just to keep Irish and the others. Just to put as many cars as between me and them.
Yeah, and of course, once you did finally get past, take the lead of the race, you honestly just didn't look back, and you were looking on form all weekend. So going into next week, which is going to be Baku in Azerbaijan. How do you feel like this race might help in terms of confidence, or how are you feeling after this race going into next week?
Well, of course, it will help me, to say mentally, but I think I like Baku. I think I'm good at it, and I saw the next races. I think I have a decent pace in all the next tracks, and I'm really planning to win everything. It just, yeah, we'll focus on each weekend, and we'll see what's going to happen.
All right. Well, it was definitely a fantastic race, fantastic drive, fantastic racing from you here today. So congratulations on the victory, and honestly, go enjoy the champagne. And now, last but not least, let's get the Haas up. It's Zuil. Zuil, are you? Can you hear us at all? Are you here with us?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Just want to make sure you're still here. So, Oh, I just had all my stuff open. Apologies for that. So I think it was qualified pretty decently. I wouldn't say middle of the pack, but P5 for you. I mean, it was a good race. You were caught up in a lot of battles, but definitely a good benefactor of driving a clean race. But I mean, like I always do, firstly, talk us through it. What were your thoughts here after that race?
Uh, this game needs a fix for safety car. It was ridiculous to get a safety car every 5 laps. But anyway, I got caught in a lot of traffic during the whole race. I guess Prix was the best I could reach today. Lazarus was way faster than me, so GG to him because he got the pace to just take P1 easily. And maybe I could have pit for soft during this safety car, but I tried the gamble to stay on track to keep track position. It worked about pretty good, so I can't complain too much. Just not the perfect race for me, but P3 is P3, so yeah.
Yeah, and that was something that I mean, you got the podium after the penalties, but on that final lap, getting close to the end, were you already aware that you had that, or was that a bit of a surprise for you to end up on that third step of the podium at the end of the race?
No, I knew it because Knight was in the party with me, so I knew he got 3 then 6 seconds of penalty. And my teammate Sofiane got 5 seconds, I don't know why, maybe he can remove that, I don't know. But yeah, he was in front of me, so I saw he got 5 seconds. I was just behind him, so I knew it was P3 at the end, so no surprise.
All right. Well, I mean, it was a fantastic race from you here today. I mean, you did everything you had to do and kept your nose clean, and you got a fantastic podium out of it. So more points for yourself in the driver. So congratulations on that. Félicitations.
Merci.
Plaisir. But I think on that note, I'm just gonna wrap up the stream here. So my oh my, one more time, what a race that was. It was a fantastic showing from the drivers. So drivers, thank you for putting on a show. Fans, of course, thank you so much for watching, for supporting us here today. And this is honestly, this is exactly why we do what we do. But like I was mentioning before, in about now 30 minutes time, just under 30 minutes time, we will have Division 1 as they take their turn here around the Russian Grand Prix at the Sochi Autodrome. So definitely going to want to tune in for that. But until then, on behalf of myself and everybody here at ISRL Esports, I want to say thank you so much for watching, and have yourselves a fantastic day.